Assalamualaikum, Uncle G.
Walaikum salam.
Uncle G, tell me your name, who you are, and where you was born, please.
My name is Noorulla Khan, but I'm also known as Babli Khan because most of my friends back home, since I was born, was called Babli. That was named by my mamu. He was from Persia. I was born in Uganda. My parents came from Pakistan, but then it was India. So I'm not classing them as Indians, but they're still Pakistan. So that's where the life starts.
How many siblings do you have?
We are four brothers and one sister. My sister passed away when we were very young. And one brother passed away in Malta when we left the country, and the others are in Canada.
Why did your parents move from Pakistan to... Which country was you born in, Uganda?
My parents were born in India at that time, but later it became Pakistan, and they came to Uganda in the early 19th century. Because there was a scope of building the railways from Mombasa to Kampala, and as he was an engineer, he was an engineer in the building of the railway, and he came to Uganda and settled there. There were two brothers from India then, and my other chachu was settled in Nairobi. He was an accountant. So he settled in Nairobi. My dad came to Kampala then and settled there. And he worked as an engineer in a company there. And I was born in Jinja in the 1940s, and life took off from there.
What can you tell us about your childhood in Ginger?
My childhood, oh my God, it was very, I would say very happy childhood. We didn't know what pressure is. We just went to school, came home, kicked the shoes out, and we were out playing. And our parents never thought where we are, never worried about us. When will we come home? Where are we? They knew that wherever we would be in safe hands. And even the neighbors where we go and play, they were just like our parents because they cared for their children and us the same. When it was dinner time, they would call all the children inside. Whether they are Hindus or Sikh or whatever, we would just sit together and eat and enjoy life. The childhood was very, very colorful, stress-free, no high-tech, no nothing. It was, we made our own toys.
What kind of toys did you make, and how did you make them?
What we did, we went to these tailor shops, and they had these reels, they call it, the end of the thread, and we collected them, put them in the wire, and twisted them and make a long steering and all that. And we just went around and we took the bicycle rim, put a stick in there, and we just run around with them. That was our childhood. Climb trees, pick mangoes, pick all kind of fruit. We didn't wash them. We just ate them as it is, without any fear or of virus or infection or whatever. We never knew anything about any illnesses. We were just carefree. Yeah.
And what was school like?
Oh, we started our primary school again. It was all mixed school, and everybody were just one big family. No Hindus, Muslims or Sikhs or whatever. We didn't know what religion is. We all knew we were Muslim, they were Hindus, the others were Sikh, but we were just like one big happy family. No discrimination. We never heard the word discrimination in Africa. And we just grew happily with everybody. It was tough for some because of poverty and all that, but that was life. Nobody felt anything. Everybody went along and enjoyed their life. We had our education there. And we were happy.
After school, did you go on to higher education?
Yeah, after I went to three different schools. We went to primary school, and then we went to the second school. Then we went to class 6 to 8 into another school, and then finally we came to the high school where we finished our Cambridge certificate, and that was it. That was end of schooling.
Just going back to your childhood just for a few minutes, what kind of things did you used to do?
Oh my God. One, I was very active. I was very into sports. I never smoked in my life because one of my instructor told me, if you want to achieve something in sports, don't smoke because that will kill your stamina. So that went into my head as a child, and I never smoked, and I never drank. I was very active sportsman. I loved cycling. I think I was 14 when my dad bought me a bicycle, and me and my friend, we went from Jinja to Nairobi by bike. Just two of us. You can imagine going through all those jungles and from one town to another town in total darkness. And we enjoyed those rides.
How long was that journey, and how did
Oh,
you
it took
know
us-
how to get there?
It took us 4 days. We were tired.
Yeah.
We started and then we had a night sleep at Tororo at the border. Then from there, early in the morning, we started to go to Kisumu. We slept at Kisumu. Then the third day, we started from Kisumu, went to Eldoret. No, Nakuru. And then rested there. And then all the way to Nairobi. But in between, you come across escarpment. It's an uphill. And on one side, you have Rift Valley. That Rift Valley is one place to see. Amazing place.
What do you remember about it?
Oh my God. It's a Rift Valley with such a beautiful scenery with all the animals there and all that. We didn't go down to the Rift Valley, but that's what Rift Valley was, and a dangerous place in those days because people were scared not to break down between the bottom of Rift Valley to the top. Because if you break down in between, you would be robbed, you could be killed. There were news that they were Maos. These are the I don't know what you call them. I mean, soldiers.
Were they
or
the native people of
the native people
jungle?
of Kenya.
Yeah.
And we were scared going up the escarpment thinking, oh, we must clear it before the darkness. If not, we had it. So with that in mind, we went up all the way, and by evening we were in Nairobi, where we said, oh, thank you very much, God. We arrived safely, went to my uncle's place, stayed there for a week, and then we came back. Yeah, it was one hell of a bike ride.
It sounds like
almost 300 miles. But that was me. I mean, being a scout and adventurous, my childhood was all adventure. I mean, by the time I was 13, we went to the Lake Victoria shore. It's called Jinja Pier. On one side is Victoria, and by the end of Victoria starts the Nile, the source of Nile. We started learning swimming in the Victoria. My first day, we went there. There were stones all around, and in between the stone there's water, standing water. And we just went in there, kicked around, learned how to swim. And just about 50 yards away, on another stone was a crocodile with his mouth open. Now we knew when crocodile sleeps with a mouth open, he doesn't disturb anybody.
Okay.
Having seen that, the fear went away. The fear of, oh, crocodile will kill us. So that fear never came to me, and I became a person who's never scared of water. No water scares me, and we learned swimming. And after 6 months, I was the first man to swim from one side of Victoria to the other side on his own, with crocodiles, hippos, snakes in the water, but with no fear. Because that fear of crocodile was taken away from me. So I just jumped in the water, swam all the way to the other shore. Yeah, we were 14 when we learned swimming, and I was the first person to swim the Lake Victoria, and I was proud of it.
What inspired you to want to swim Lake Victoria?
I was practicing to swim long distance because I heard on the news there was a girl in UK at that time who crossed the English Channel from Dover to France. And I said, if 14-year-old can do all that, one day I'll do it. And that inspired me to swim long distance, keep myself fit. Sports keeps me fit. I played hockey, volleyball, cricket, cycling. So I was really fit at that age. Yeah.
Did you have school holidays, and where did you used to go in your school
Oh,
holidays?
school holidays we were looking forward to all the holidays. I mean, early days when by the time we were 10, we would travel to Kampala, which is 50 miles away from Jinja, which is my town. And we visited our family, we spent the time there. And occasionally we would catch the train and go to Nairobi. I had family there. And we were always looking forward to holidays, traveling here and traveling there. If we don't travel outside, we are busy playing with our friends. Yeah.
And at school, did you ever have any school trips?
We didn't have school trips as we have it here, but from my primary school I became a scout, and every holiday we would go camping. We would go visit other towns and meet scouts there in Kampala and all that. And that was all growing up as a scout, learning a lot, meeting people, learning new skills, learning the way of life. I mean, by the age of 10, we didn't know what life is. We were just innocent kids enjoying life. No pressure, no worries. That's how we grew up.
What can you tell me about the different foods that were there and the fruits?
Fruit-wise, Uganda was very fertile. You had all sorts of fruit. Mangoes, everything were there. And we just enjoyed, as in my childhood, we were all going out and about. When we go for a swim, we would just climb the trees, get some mangoes, and just go eat them. And my best mixture was salt, bit of chilies, and the best was the fruit salt. Mix it together and just dip your mangoes in there and eat them. We would go to,
Let me check it.
on the way near the town hall, there was a big field with all the trees with imlis in there. We pick them, we eat them as well. Very, very sour and very tasty.
How did you manage to check if they were ripe? And did these trees belong to anybody?
No, they were just there. Nobody stops you from picking anything. You can just climb, pick as many as you want. And the best part is you just eat there or you take them home. You climb the trees. When they're raw, they're green. The skin is hard and solid. You can't feel the softness. And when they are ripe, the skin becomes a bit crunchy and you can flake it. Means they are ripe now.
Okay.
So that's how we will put the ripe ones, take the skin off and dip it in our salt and fruit salt and chilies and enjoy eating it.
Which other types of foods do you remember in Uganda? And the different places that you travelled?
We had jackfruit. We loved jackfruit. We had mangoes, bananas. The fruit we didn't have is apple and other fruit which grows in the west. We didn't have them, grapes and all that. They were very luxury.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from it, in the backyard we had this big fruit of papaya.
Wow.
And the one we had was so big, I mean it was a little bit bigger than the rugby ball. And they were so sweet. You could not finish one. You know, it was, and we had banana tree, we had a guava tree, and there's another fruit which is called, we call it shatut, but it's like blackberry, very sweet. And you find them all over the place. You just pick them and eat. And the other thing was gulab jamuns. The jamun trees were full of this fruit, and we would just climb them and just pick them. I mean, there's no restrictions. Oh, it's mine or whatever. They grow everywhere in wild, and you just learn how to climb the trees and just pick those fruits, and they grow in bunches. And when we go in there, we start saying, oh, that's my bunch, don't you touch it. So we climb up like monkeys and go up to the bunch and break it off and eat some and take some home. Yeah. Fruit wise, Uganda was very fertile. Yeah. You get so many types of fruit, so many different types of mangoes. Bananas there, the bananas that grow in Uganda is smaller, not the long type that you get here, and very sweet. And you have green bananas which you cook. You have cassava, which we call it mogo. They grow underground. You eat them as well. And fruit wise, I think you can't go hungry in Uganda. It's more fertile than Kenya and Tanzania. Yeah.
What was the authority like the police with you in Uganda?
People never had any problem with the police because there wasn't much crime there. Everybody were friendly. I mean, even the police were very friendly. They would, and the funny thing is, because they were friendly. I mean, if you commit a crime, a motoring crime or whatever, instead of giving you a fine, you would chat with him and say, well, oh, come on, officer. I mean, it's nothing. It's only parking fine. Oh, no, you have to pay 50 shilling and all that. I said, come on, officer, I'm a student. Take 20 shilling and we'll call it a day. And eventually he will take that 20 shilling and we'll walk away. They were like that. I mean, call it bribing, call it whatever. But that's how life was back home. And we never had any problem with the police or anybody. But the only thing we loved when somebody was caught, an African stealing a bike or whatever, and then he was marched, handcuffed for miles. Say if he's caught near the post office and he's taken to the police station, which is a mile away, and he's walking through the town, and everybody that comes across hits him. Sort of, why did you do it? You know, slap him, punch him, kick him, and the policeman wouldn't say anything because that's the kind of punishment you would expect if you steal. Like the Africans say, if you steal, don't get caught. You get caught, you're going to pay for it. And we as children, young men, as soon as we see some thief being walked to the police station, we would go punch him, kick him, slap him, and we would enjoy it. Funny enough, we never thought that, oh my God, why should we do it? But that was way of life. You get caught, you pay for it. And it was a funny world we were in, but a happy one. Yeah.
How did you celebrate your birthdays and Eid in Uganda?
I don't remember celebrating my birthday. And I don't remember anybody celebrating birthdays. I mean, we were not into birthdays and this and yes. We celebrated the festives. Eid, Diwali, the Garbas, Christmas. We would celebrate it wholeheartedly. Not thinking, oh, I'm a Muslim. That's not my festive. It's a Diwali for Hindus. But we would take part. We would enjoy the festive season. We would go to their houses, have food together, and that's what we really enjoyed more. I never remember having a birthday cake because not many people could afford cakes, but that's why people were not into birthday cakes and birthday celebration. Maybe somebody would say, oh, your birthday, happy birthday. And that was it. But festive season, yes, we loved it and we look forward to it. Yeah.
What did you want to do after you finished school?
Oh boy. When I finished my education, I was 19. And my father said, okay, now you have done your schooling. What else you want to do? Now, he wanted to send me to UK for further education. And my friends were going to India then. So, and because we were very close, I said to my dad, I don't want to go to UK. I would rather go to India. Thinking, oh, they have colleges, universities and all that. So he agreed with me because he supported me all the way. So we took a trip by train to Mombasa and then the ship, because then nobody traveled by air. If you want to go to India or Pakistan, you go by ship. And what a journey. We took a ship from Mombasa to India in June, and what an experience. The sea was rough, everybody were vomiting here and there, and me and my friend, being young, we were enjoying it. People would not eat because they were sick all the time, and we ate all the food, and we had so much fun. And 2 weeks later we were in Bombay, and I spent about a year in India.
How did you find India at the age of 19?
Experience in India was, oh boy, something you could not imagine. We landed in Bombay, and the amount of people in Bombay was amazing.
Wow.
People were going up and down the street like ants. Like we see ants in Africa going all up and down. We said, oh my God, where do they come from? I would say on one street I could imagine there were about 8,000 to 10,000 people.
Wow.
Crowded. Not too many cars then, but people and the rickshaws and all that was some experience. Travel by train and those horse riding
Dange.
was amazing. One experience I would never forget in my life. The life in Bombay for 3 months, and then we went to Pune, we went to Goa. I went to Baroda and I wanted to study there, but I could not accept the culture because I was a Muslim among all the Hindus. The good thing was I could speak Gujarati very fluently, so they thought I'm one of them. And my friends told me, don't you tell anybody that you are a Muslim. You are my friend and you are this. And I got away with it, but I didn't feel very relaxed. Cheating that I'm Hindu and I'm not Hindu.
What would have happened, do you think, if they found out that you was a Muslim?
No, I mean, they were not cruel that they would kill me or torture me or whatever. I was feeling uneasy.
Yeah.
They were friendly, and don't get me wrong, they were not very militant
Mm.
towards Muslims and all that. They were Muslims in that country. They were very happy. But my friends' relatives, they were very strict Hindus.
Okay.
So they would feel uneasy to feed me in their kitchen, eating on their plate, being a Muslim.
Okay.
So I pretended that I'm yes one of you, and I spoke Gujarati all the time, and I got away with it. And that was because we in Uganda we speak all languages, and because my majority of my friends were Hindus, we spoke more Hindus in Gujarati. Then we had Sikhs and all culture together. So we learned everything from each other. They came to mosque, we went to the temple. We integrated so well that it was one big happy family. No, who are you or what religion are you? Nobody asks you that. They just take you what you are and life goes on. Yeah.
And after you left India, after the year...
After
what
a year
happened
in
then?
India, all I did was go from one city to another city and just see the country. Because my dad thought I'm there to study, but I told my dad that this is it, and then he said, "Well, you're in India for too long. Why don't you go to Pakistan? And you have got your puppies there, your relatives there. Go and meet them. They would love to see you." So I said, "Well, fine." I was a young man. I just wanted to travel. So I took the flight from Bombay to Lahore. And oh my God, the heat. It was the month of June. As soon as you walk out of the plane, you hit the oven.
Wow.
That's how I felt, the heat. But again, I met the family. They were very nice, very hospitable. My dad told me to go to Pakistan and meet the family there. And I said, okay, I'm all for it. It's free ride. So yeah, we flew from Bombay to Lahore. And the weather was very hot. Soon as you got off the plane, which was air conditioned, go outside, it is like going into the oven. That hot. But my cousin was there, he picked me up, we went home, met all the families, and they were very happy. They looked after me. We traveled to Karachi, Islamabad, all other towns, and yeah, I enjoyed my stay in Pakistan. The food was good, people were very friendly. The only thing I didn't enjoy in Pakistan was early in the morning when you want to go to the toilet. And that was one experience I would never forget. You walk all the way to the field, and I'm saying, where are we going? So I thought maybe there must be some kind of arrangements. And when he says, well, we are here. That was one experience I would never forget. But then you get used to it. You know, learn a lot in life, different experiences. But it was fun in Pakistan.
Where in Pakistan did you go? Which town was it?
We went to Sargodha where my dad was born. Then we went to another small town called Bera, not too far, where my puppies lived. And these were the two towns I ended up initially, but then we traveled to neighboring towns, went to Islamabad, we stayed there. Then we took a train to Karachi, and that was another experience. As you approach Karachi, it was so very dusty, and because it's all sand and all that, I said, where are we going? Well, we were there, another hot place, Karachi, and it was too hot. But I enjoyed those. I stayed in Pakistan for about 8 months, and then I hit back to Uganda.
How did you compare it to Uganda, Pakistan?
Uganda was place in a heaven. You can never fault Uganda. East Africa. It was like a heavenly place. They call Uganda as the pearl of Africa. Not for nothing. It's a place one must visit in his lifetime. You know, the beauty of it, the scenery, the places you can see, you won't see anywhere else in the world. The fruit, the people, the experience, the traveling was one experience, and you can't compare with Pakistan, India, or anything. Apart from, okay, India is a big country, a lot of people. Uganda, a small place, but people in Uganda were 10 times better than people in India and Pakistan.
Why was that?
Because they were very genuine, they were very hospitable. Wherever you go, they treat you like royalty. Because when they see an Asian, they call you Mzungu. Mzungu means white man. Because they have never seen anything else but Africans. So the treatment you get, you say, oh wow, I'm royalty. But that's how the people are. They're very genuine. Their love is genuine. They treat you like anything, and that's the difference between any other country that I've visited. And I would never swap places with anywhere else. I've been to UK for 50 years now, but home is home. You still remember your town, your childhood, the way you grew up. Okay, we were not very rich, but that life was something out of this world. You can never get it here. That was Uganda.
So after 8 months in Pakistan, you decided to go back to Uganda?
Yeah, it was just about a week in 64, I think, 65, when the war started, India and Pakistan. And I was lucky enough to get out of Pakistan a week before, and we were in the ship halfway when we heard the war has started in India, Pakistan. And well, we were lucky, we were safe. And then I was back home after 2 weeks, Mombasa, and then Mombasa to Uganda by train. And I was happy to be home. And then my life began.
After you finished your education, what did you go on to doing?
Well, after my education and the trip to India, Pakistan and back, my dad said, okay, Babli, you've been there, what now? What would you like to do now? I said, I don't know. I think I'll find a job and get some experience. And he said, okay, there is this textile mill. He knew the manager there. So he talked to him that I would like to bring my son in and show him the machinery side of it. Because my dad was an engineer, he thought I will pick up quickly. So I said, well, okay, but I said, Dad, because I've got to go that far and all that, I need a car. I can't be bothered to go by bus and walk and all that. And because he had so much faith in me, and out of the 4 brothers, I was the most loved one in the family. So he said, okay. So he talked to his other friend who had a garage, and he bought my first Citroen CX-21. Beautiful car. And then I went to the job. I lasted there 6 months. And then I said, I don't like it. So by this time, my elder brother was a printer, and he went to Nairobi, worked there, came back, and he wanted to start his own business in screen printing. This is where we established our screen printing business in Jinja. So I said, I'll join my brothers, me and my elder brother and my youngest brother. So we started the business. We started with printing the stickers and all that for the cars and other textile. And eventually we got the contract with the armed forces, the police and the Air Force,
Mashallah.
which was a big contract. We were very happy, and that boosted our finance, and we grew bigger and bigger, and we were loving it. And then my job was easy because I did mostly traveling, getting orders and collecting the money. So I had to travel to Kampala at least 2-3 times a day, which is a 50-mile journey. Then I would go to Kenya, I would go to Kisumu, Nairobi, and I just loved traveling, and I got the job of traveling. So
What
it was happy business, yeah.
What type of things did you print?
We print for the army. We print their badges, the journals and all these stickers, and the badges for the car and the flags for the car. Like the president had his flag on the car, we printed them, and we made them. Then the police flag. For the Air Force, we printed their badges and the stickers, and yeah, we did well. And in the end, it paid me off in a way because they helped me a lot leaving the country. Yeah.
Moving on to, you started working at the printers. To get there, you were saying you had to drive. Did you have to take driving lessons?
Yeah, you have to pass your tests.
How was
No.
that?
I was driving since I was 15, yeah, in high school. And the funny thing is, because I could ride scooters and all that, I needed the car for a day. And I talked to my friend, I said, would you lend me your car? He had a Morris Minor. And he says, Babli, can you drive? I said, oh yeah, it's not difficult. And trust me, I have never driven a car before. So I said, yeah, I can drive. I was thinking about motorbike, clutch, brake, let it go, acceleration. So I took the keys and I waited till he walks away. Then I started the car, put it in gear, moved a bit. I couldn't drive it, but then slowly I managed it and I drove it. My friend was with me and he helped me, but that was my first ride in a car. And then I learned properly and gave my test, passed it when I was 17. And that was it, and I loved driving. And driving on those dirt roads was one experience. You always want to go back and drive on those dirt roads. It's so fun. And I loved it because wherever you go, as soon as you leave a town, which is tarmac roads, then you hit the dirt road. Like from Uganda to Kenya, halfway it's all dirt roads. And it was fun.
What did you enjoy about them, and what makes you still remember them so much?
One is fun driving those roads, and because we love driving and traveling, me and my friend, and we traveled all over. We went to Kenya one day, 4 of us just decided, okay, let's go to Mombasa. No program, no planning. Okay, tomorrow we are leaving. So we just got our clothes, packed it up, put it in the car, and off we go. So it is nearly about 600 miles from Jinja. So we just hit the road, and after 2 days we were in Mombasa. and spent there a week and then hit back the road back to Uganda.
As a young man, you spoke about with your friends that you like to do lots of travelling and picking fruits from trees. What about with the family? What did you like to do growing up?
Funny enough, I never spent any time with the family.
Wow.
That was one thing, because we were 4 brothers.
Mm.
I didn't have any sister because my sister died when we were very, very young. And we had all different interests. I was more adventurous. My elder brother was very quiet, business minded and all that. My youngest was spoiled by me. And the third one, he had a different life. So we just went about our own ways like boys do. And I never had a quality time with family. And funny enough, my dad, though he spoiled me, he never talked to us. He kept himself to himself. He never discussed about his family and who the family is, what is the background, who was the grandfather. We never knew anything about that. He wasn't a man with too many words, but he was a genuine person. I love him. He was a type of person who would do charity with one hand and the other hand would not know it. And funny enough, because a lot of people were very poor back home, they could not pay school fees for their children because education was expensive. A lot of people could not afford ration. What my dad did, and I take my hat off to him. I've never seen a man like him. One man looks after the whole family, and he looks after about 4 to 5 families, giving their school fees, putting food in their house, all 4 of them. We never knew. My mother didn't know because he never spoke. He just kept himself to himself. He was a very decent person. He would come from work, he would come home, have his shower and all that. He will go to the mosque and he walks. He doesn't want to go by car. Dad, I'll take you to the mosque. No. I'll walk. He will go, stop on the way, talk to him, talk to that man, go to the mosques, and then he will visit those families and come home. When he passed away in 75, people who he helped were living in London. When they knew, they came to Rochdale to pay tribute to my dad. They told me that, do you know your father? I said, yeah, why? This is what he did to us, and we could not forget that. I said, what did he do? He gave our children's school fees, and my sister's children's school fees, and the other family's children's school fees. Every month the ration would be at our home. What he did was, the Hindus were businessmen, so he told them, rice, oil, this, that, take it to that family and I'll pay for that. And he did. And we knew that when we were here, not when we were back home. And that was amazing. Sometimes it brings tears to you, thinking, oh my God, what a father we had, and we never knew about him. But then again, being boys, we just kept to ourselves and enjoyed life. Yeah, there were poverty in Africa as well. Not everybody were rich. I think the life changed when people came over here. But that's another story.
At which age did you get married?
Well, the girl I married is not the girl I wanted to marry. Because the reason was, she was my cousin, and we went to the house when we were young, and I never thought I would get married to one of the girls. And I was 20 years old when my parents told me that, okay, it's about time we get you married, and they got me married to Meron. and we got married in January 1970, 1st January. So I celebrate my anniversary every New Year, yeah, with the world.
And what can you remember about the ceremony?
Well, I mean, since I've never experienced all those ceremonies, we went to Kampala and there was a private wedding, but all families and friends. We had almost about 300 people, and the experience was, oh, you sit there, go through the wedding and sign the papers and all that, and you come home and you think, oh, I'm married now. No excitement, no nothing. I wasn't worried or that I'm married now, what now? I just let it go and just what will happen will happen. That's the type of person I was. And that was it. We got married.
Where did you live?
Sorry?
Where did you live?
We lived in Jinja, the same house. That house was built my father. I mean, he built the house himself when he was working. I mean, that's where we ended till 72 when we left the country.
What was the reason that you left Ginger?
Leave the country?
Yes.
Funny thing is, this Idi Amin was a sergeant in the army. I mean, he was from Jinja and we knew him because he used to play rugby and we used to watch him play rugby in the ground. And suddenly we heard that he's going to have a coup because the President Nyerere, who was the president at that time, left the country for some conference and he took over. And I said, well, he's just a sergeant, how could he become a president? But Amin being Amin, he just took over and one day he says, I had a dream. I don't know where he got his dream from, that the Asians are milking the country. So we said, what is he talking about? But then he gave all the Asians 90 days to leave the country from September 1972. And everybody panicked, panic buying, panic running here and there. People had so much money and stuff they could not take with them, and they were giving away thousands and thousands of pounds, shilling, to anybody who doesn't have money to buy ticket. So at that time, money didn't matter, as if it was nothing. You could have 100,000 shillings in the bank, means nothing to you. And those 90 days were just panic, nothing else but panic. And people were shopping within a week. The whole town, the shops were empty, literally empty. I remember my daughter was 2 years old and my son was born. He was 4 months old when we had to leave. And I was running around, going to Kampala, get the passport ready, go in the morning, come back in the evening. I did that for a week to get all the paperwork done. And at the British Embassy, you would see thousands of Asians queuing up to get their passport in order and preparing for leaving the country. At that time, we had barriers from Jinja to Kampala. We had about 4 checkpoints to stop and search. They had army on the checkpoints. But my good fortune, because we had a contract with the army, I always kept these flags and all that in the car. And this is when those flags helped me. So every time I come to a checkpoint, I show those flags to the army and say, I'm going to the head office. And he just salute me and say, go. When people are queuing up, I just pass through. And he did that for 4 days. Got my passport ready, got my wife's and children paperwork ready. and my parents first decided not to leave. But at the end they decided, okay, things are getting worse, we will all leave. So they became stateless.
When you say getting worse, what was happening for things to get worse?
What is happening, because the army took over, there was army everywhere. So some soldiers took law into their own hands. They would go into somebody's house knowing he is a rich man. They would go and, take whatever they want. People were scared for their life. I don't remember any Asian being killed, but a lot of Africans were killed, I know that. But the panic station was there. Everybody were panicking, scared to death. So eventually everybody decided to leave. There were few who decided to stay back. So my parents became stateless. They had no passport, no paperwork, no nothing, because they didn't have British passport. I was lucky because of the job I was doing. I traveled to Kenya, everywhere. So I had to have a passport. And funny enough, I made a British passport. I don't know why I did. But that is the only thing that brought me to UK. My parents became stateless, my brothers became stateless. And the deadline was the 9th of November 1972. The 8th of November, I talked to this General Suleiman at the Ginger Barracks. I said, Suleiman, I'm leaving. Oh no, you're not leaving. Nothing will happen to you and your family. I said, no, we all decided to go. So I've got this car, I want to give it to you. I don't want to throw it away. You keep it. And our house servant, who's been with us since we were 4-year-old, he's been with us for 25 years.
Did he live with you at the time? Did he live with you as well?
No, he lived at his house,
Okay.
a couple of miles away, and he would walk every morning. 6 o'clock he will be home.
What kind of things did he do in the house?
All housework. He was such a trusted person that we would leave the house to him and we would go away and nothing would happen. That was the trust we had in him. So eventually we gave him all the furniture. We said, just take what you want, because it means nothing to us. And the house, my dad gave it to the Jamaat in Jinja to use it as they want. So they gave the house to the mosque, all the furniture to the servant. I gave my car to the Colonel Suleiman, and he was good enough to say, okay, Babli, don't worry, we'll give you an escort up to the airport. So I said, oh, that would be very nice. No worries, no nothing. He said, take what you want, nobody will check you. So I packed everything that I could. Everybody were allowed 50 shilling per family. Whether you are 4 people, 5 people or 10 people, you can only go with 50 shilling, which is not even a pound. No, 20 shilling was a pound, £2.50 per family. So we took that 50 shilling. You couldn't take any money from the bank. You could just give it away. So I was escorted to the airport.
Who was with you being
Me,
escorted?
my wife and 2 kids.
What about your parents?
My parents and my brothers, they took a cab to the airport because I could only go in one car, 4 of us. Even they were with us, but they were in a different vehicle. We were all safely at the airport, but I had to take them before I could leave. So I had to make sure they are out of the country. Even being number 2 in the family, I made sure they were at the airport. They were on the plane on the 9th of November 1972. Having done all that, that night we left for Heathrow Airport. So we landed at airport at midnight on the 10th of of November 1972.
How was that plane journey? What kind of thoughts were going through your mind?
Like a lost man.
Yeah.
Where are we going? What country would we like? What is the weather like? We had not experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
Coming from a tropical country to a country which is cold like anything. We landed at the airport 10th of November, so cold, snowing and all that.
Yeah.
We never experienced that in our life. But the British government was good enough because they were waiting at the airport with clothes, everything for the children, for adults. So we got all the jackets and the overcoats and everything. And we were taken to the coach. We went into the coach and we went to Hobbs Barracks in Essex. And we were there for November, December, January, 3 months. But that life in the camp was another turning point.
What was life like in the camp that you stayed, in the barracks?
Well, the life in the barracks was very encouraging because of our education and speaking English fluently and all that, and we were very friendly and integrated with the community very well. And because of my experience back home, I visited my dad at his workplace and learned about the firefighting equipment that he was manufacturing. So in the camp, they were looking for somebody to work on health and safety. And yeah, because of my experience back home, after 15 people they interviewed, they chose me to be the main candidate. So I had to go for a small training in Reigate to learn how to fight fire, which I was very familiar with, and they were very happy and they employed me. And that was my first job in the UK, getting good money, mind you. And I was in charge of the whole camp for their health and safety and make sure everybody when they go to sleep keeps everything safe, no fire hazard and all that. So I enjoyed that job, having the authority to tell people off and all. So plus I was given a van, a minibus to take people to London and all that. And having no experience driving in this country and where am I going and all that, I said, yeah, okay, I'll manage. Because I was never afraid of driving. I took my first trip to London, taking all the people to visit Madame Tussauds, the wax work, and I loved it. Because the traffic wasn't too heavy then, I managed it okay. I don't think I could do it now with all those traffic. And I enjoyed those 2 months in the camp, and it gave me good money. When I left the camp, my sister-in-law was in Rochdale. When they found out that we are in the camp, she phoned us somehow. The phone came to the office, they called me and I took the message. And we decided, okay, we'll think about it. And the people in the camp, Simon Bird, the main guy's son, who was in charge of the camp, told me that, Mr. Khan, I would like to take you with me to near Blackpool, because he had just bought a hotel and he wanted me to run that place. I said, Simon, I have no experience in managing a hotel. Oh no, you'll do fine, you have got everything that I'm looking for. I said, okay, we'll go and at least have a look at it. So we took a train ride, saw the place, came back, and I said, I'll let you know. And he asked my wife, where would you like to go and settle? And the first thing she says, have they got Indian movies there? And he said, you woman, what are you talking about? I'm giving you a place to go and settle and you're worried about the English Indian movies. So the first place they offered me was Barnsley. She turned it down. Then we got another offer to go and settle in London. And I said no, because I heard that London is too hectic. So I refused London. And then my sister-in-law came in and said, come to Rochdale. So we packed everything up, get it on the train, and off we came to Manchester, and then from Manchester to Rochdale. And boy, what a train ride. With two children, young children, cold and all that. We managed to make it. We came to Rochdale and we settled in Rochdale. Yeah.
Where did you first live and what was your first thoughts of coming to Rochdale?
Well, when we came to Rochdale, I mean, we didn't see much. And we were, at that time, we had these big flat on Queensway, Ashfield Valley. Very notorious place, then I realized. Very rough. People were very rough. But people never scared me. I mean, I brought up in that way that people never scared me. So I said, okay, Ashfield Valley, so be it. So we went there. We stayed with our brother-in-law for 4 weeks. Then we got our own flat on the top floor. Stayed there, 940 Yardley, for a year. At that time, I had a message from Canada because when we were in the flat, my elder brother and my parents were in Malta because United Nations took them to Malta.
Why?
Because when they left Uganda, United Nations took them to an in-transit place. So they went to Malta, and from Malta, they will decide where to go and settle. So they were in Malta, and my brother's wife and his children were still in Nairobi because my sister-in-law was pregnant then, so she wanted to go to Nairobi to give birth. And in that time, people left Uganda, and my brother were in Malta. He did all the running around, and my sister-in-law was going to join him in Malta, but she had some problem with the tax. She had to clear the tax form and all that, so it got delayed by another couple of weeks. He waited another 2 weeks, and then again they were supposed to fly on a certain date. Then my nephew fell and broke his leg, so that delayed another week or two. Now my brother was getting all worried up. Will they join me or will they not? And one day he had a heart attack in the bathroom and he passed away in Malta in 1973. Now at that time I had friends in Leicester. So I told my friend Ashwin, he is a Hindu. I said, Ashwin, this happened. He said, would you like to go to Malta? I said, I would love to go to Malta, but I can't afford it. My passport is not valid to leave the country. He says, don't worry, pack your bag and come to Leicester and we'll see what we can do. So I said, fine. I had a car, went to Leicester. His elder brother, Praful Bhai, he took my passport, went to Loughborough. They had a British office there. So he got the passport sorted, came back, and the next day they said, okay, let's go to London. Not telling me anything. So I picked my bag, drove to London Heathrow. He said, here's your ticket, and here's £150 in those days.
A lot of money.
Yeah, for me to use in Malta in case I need it. So I went to Malta, have my brother buried there, because my father said, because he was a very principled man, he believed in the hadith saying, wherever you die, you should be buried there. He didn't believe in taking my brother's body either back home or to Canada or wherever. So we buried him there. I stayed in Malta for a month, and then I came back. And then very soon after that, United Nations asked them, where would you like to go? And they were interviewed by a few countries there. So the Canadian embassy accepted them to go to Canada. Because of my father's qualification and my brother's qualification, they were accepted. So my two brothers and my mom and dad, they went to Canada. And in 75, I went with Sabia, my daughter, to Canada to visit them. June 1975, I said goodbye to my dad, and I said, okay, I'll take mom with me. She'll stay with me for some times. And my dad decided, okay, take mom with you. And this year, inshallah, I'll go to Hajj. And then after Hajj, I'll come and join you in Rochdale. I said, fine, Dad, okay, I'll take mom. So I brought my mom here. And it was... So we came to Rochdale, and 4 weeks later, I had a call from Canada that Dad is very ill. Please either come or send mom. So I managed to send mom because I couldn't afford 2 tickets. So I said, at least mom should go. She went, and she reached in time to go to the hospital. As soon as she was in the hospital, Dad passed away. So I lost him in 75, brother in 73. Then mom came back to me. She stayed with me a couple of years, and she passed away in 77. So in 4 years, I lost almost all my family.
Yeah.
So I had 2 brothers left in Canada, and I was here. And life just went on. That was a very hard beginning in UK.
It sounds like it was a very difficult time. Did you
Very
manage,
difficult.
Did you manage to have any friends here to support you?
Oh, friend-wise and family-wise in UK, I was fine because I had so many friends here. I had nearly about 15 families from Uganda who settled in Rochdale. So we were okay, we were supported well. And then I started my job, and things went on. Yeah.
How did you adapt to the food, the weather, and the new neighbourhood that you lived in, Rochdale?
Weather-wise, it was hard in the beginning because of the winter season, snow, because in those days it really snowed. And I couldn't see my wife pushing those pram with kids in the pram, going up and down bus stops, then the bus passes and slashes on you. So I felt bad. I said, what a life. So I phoned my friend in Leicester. I said, Ashwin, I need to buy a car. Never mind anything else. A car is a must for me. One, I was so much used to car from back home. I said, because he bought the house, at that time, 500-600 pound would buy you a terrace house. In 73, you could buy a terrace house. And for 5,000 pound, you could buy a semi-detached. He said, you sure you want to buy a car? I said, yeah, and I want sort of a new car. I don't want something old because I'm not mechanic. So he said, okay, come down. So I went to Leicester and we bought a Fiat, 6-month-old. Costed me 800 pound. I said, never mind. What I earned at the camp, I had about 500 pound on me. I said, I'll pay 500 pound and the rest I'll pay monthly. And they accepted it. Brought the car. My family were very happy that they don't have to walk anymore. And then I found a job.
When you first moved to Rochdale, how did you feel the environment was different compared to other countries that you've lived in?
The only thing I found different was people.
How were they different?
People were, just because they haven't seen the world, they were very narrow-minded. They didn't know what other countries are like, how do they live, what do they eat, and all that. And I found it very funny, very surprisingly, because some of the people I talked to, they would ask me silly questions like, "Oh, you look like us, you speak our language, but you come from Africa like Habshi." So they thought, I said, "What is Habshi? I never heard that word before." So, and what do you eat? And I said, "Okay," and I'll pull his leg now. I said, "Well, we eat everything, human meat, we were cannibals." And trust me, they believe me.
Wow. And
You
who
know-
were these people? Were they English people,
No, our people,
as in
yeah,
Pakistani?
our Pakistanis,
Okay, Asian people.
they were very narrow-minded and very surprised. And things that we told them, they would believe it because they haven't seen other countries. They don't know what Africa is.
Yes.
They didn't believe me that Asians live there. They thought Africa is for Habshi, the Africans, and they were cannibals. And when I told them, yeah, we eat them, it's very delicate meat, and you could really enjoy it, and they believed me. But the only thing I felt was they didn't trust others like we trusted others. I mean, if I have a friend, I would trust that friend as a family man. I would trust my daughters with him. I would trust my wife with him. I would not keep away from him. There was this incident on my friend's house. I went to see him. As soon as I knocked the door, I was shocked when I entered in. I didn't see his wife around, and I thought she's in the other room and all that. So I sat there, we talked for nearly half an hour.
Yeah.
Then as I was about to leave, his younger daughter opened this storeroom, a small narrow storeroom, and the wife was hiding in there. And I was shocked, and I said, "Hey, you're not a friend. If you could not trust me to come to your house and meet your wife, why do you come to my house, meet my daughters, my wife? You sit with us, you chat and joke, and when I come to your house, you hide your wife like this?" I said, "Right, Atto, we're not friends, and don't you ever come to my house." So these was the kind of things that surprised me here, because these things never happened back home.
Why do you think it was happening?
I think it's the trust in others, because I don't know what kind of background they have or the kind of mentality they have. They take that mentality to everybody. They think everybody is like him. But no, I said, grow up, go out and learn. You come to my house, what difference did you find there? We were all friendly. I trusted you with my family. You should have trusted me with your family. But I'm sorry to say that you're not worth it. So I just ignored him, and these kind of experiences, they teach you a lot. It's totally different ball game here. And then again, here I found that culture means a lot to them. They think, oh, because we are Pakistanis, we are the blessed one, and the rest of the world are just nothing. If we talk like we had a friend, he's a Sikh. And he said, there was a Maulvi, he said, why do you talk to Sikh? I said, why? He's a human being, he's a friend. Oh no, they did this too in 1947 and they did. I said, come on, grow up, Maulvi Sahib. Of all people, you should know better that 1947 is 60 years ago. Forget it. Grow up. Move forward. But these are the kind of set mind people still have about the 1947. I don't understand it. But that was it. Very funny.
When you first came here, did you manage to make any friends with any people that was from Rochdale originally?
Oh, with me, I make friends just like that. I would walk and meet somebody, and when I talk to him, the nature I have, we become friends.
How was their reaction towards you? Because many years ago in Rochdale, there wasn't as many Asian people. So how did the English people react towards you?
I'll tell you one thing, the word discrimination is not in my book. I don't believe in discrimination or abusing somebody, or the whites are too bad. When I came here, in the beginning, there was Sparrow Hill School here, and there was a unit there. They were doing screen printing, all whites, a community workshop. And I went there as a hobby. I said, listen, I've got experience in screen printing because we did back home. And there were skinheads, people who were very looking differently, very scary. But when I walked in, I talked to everybody and they were so friendly that you will feel, oh, we know each other for years. But this is how I treat others. You respect somebody, he's got to respect you. If you don't respect that person and you don't talk to him nicely, how do you expect him to talk nicely to you? So these people who people were scared of became my friends. You know, we would meet on Millstone Road. People would walk away from them and these guys would walk towards me, you know, with a bulldog in their hand, looking rough, with those skinheads and all that. But we would talk and laugh and all that, and people walking by would be shocked that this Pakistani is talking to these skinheads. What is he trying to prove? But that's the kind of person I am and I grew up as. Because back home, we never treated any other person differently. This is why we were one big happy family. Whether you are Hindu, Sikh, black, white, Gore, whatever. We never saw any difference. And here I treated everybody the same. And they liked your company. I would go into pubs, meeting them, not even drinking. And people would say, oh, you went to that pub? You drink? I said, no, I don't drink. I don't have to go to a pub and drink. I could go there and have a glass of Coke or a orange juice. Oh no, it's a pub. I said, so what? Everybody coming to mosque is not a Maulvi. You know, you could be going to mosque every day and still you're a bad person. So coming to mosque doesn't make you Janti. And these are the kind of people I came across. But then you laugh about it and you forget it and you ignore them. But again, that's the kind of person I am, the way I'm grown up. I brought up. And that's how I carry on.
How did you adapt to the different food that was here when you first came? How did you find it different?
Food-wise, we missed our African cuisine. But then eventually we found out that there are things like the green bananas, the cassavas around. Not in Rochdale, we could buy them in Manchester. And we missed them, but eventually we found them. And those are the kind of food you missed. Here you only see either dal gosht or roti or chawal or this and that. No special cuisines, no taste. But then I think the East Africans who came to this country brought in lot of cuisine to this country. I mean, now everybody is talking about the African food. Everybody is discussing what a good. We make good food. Our wives cook not the way they cooked. I mean, so totally different. My wife could make one dish which somebody else could make the same dish but taste differently. So we missed a lot of food, but then eventually we brought a lot of food here. Look at it now. Everybody's enjoying African food. Yeah.
Which job did you do?
Because I didn't have any qualification to get a job I wanted, but it was a factory making PVC leather. That was my first job. It's called Malahide, near where Crop Shifa is. The factory was there.
Yeah.
So I went on the first day and we started the job. I was fine, interviewed. They liked me. I could speak English. They were surprised because they had few Asians working there. They could not speak English, broken English. When they heard me, and they were very surprised. And I said, fine, I'll take the job, no worry. So I was on the shop floor, first day, very excited. And because back home and my education, we spoke very clean English. And on the shop floor, there was this Irish guy who was ex-army soldier and a German guy. When they talked to me, they used the F word. I said, hey, why do you have to abuse me? You want to talk to me? Talk to me. Don't F me this, F me that. You do it next time, I'll put you on the floor. And he laughed. He said, Mr. Khan, no, this is part of the language. Everybody understands. I said, really? And the manager was watching me and he was laughing his head off. He came to me and said, Mr. Khan, don't worry, it's just language. That's how everybody speaks and understand each other. I said, oh, that's good. So they didn't expect what I'm going to do next. So, funny enough, he was using one F word and I was using 3 F word in the sentence. And he laughed. He said, Mr. Khan, you're overdoing it. I said, no, I'm learning from you. You are a good teacher. And we laughed about it. And eventually they made me a shop steward in the factory.
Okay.
And because of my ability and all that, because I was very frank, call a spade, I don't care who I'm talking to. I could be talking to the managing director, but I would speak my mind up. If I'm right, I'm right. You can't change me. So they say, you're the right person for the union. This is what we want. I said, fine, I'll give it a try. I don't know what I'm getting into. Not realizing I'm going to make a lot of enemies with the management. Obviously. Anyway, the managing director was very good to me. I mean, he was a great help, helping me with a letter to get my parents here. And I said, he was a Polish guy. I said, please, don't misunderstand me. I didn't take this union job. I was pushed into it, but I'll do my best. Not have to worry. I'm not your enemy. Anyway, we worked and worked. After 1 year, things went bad and the union had to take action. And it was me who had to decide what to do. And I eventually said, yeah, we are right. We need our right. I said, okay. Had a meeting with the management. They didn't agree with me. I said, fine. I went back. I said, okay, everybody, switch off the machine. And we are walking out. Took everybody out. We striked for 10 days. And then we were called back by the management. And he agreed to what we wanted. We got it. But then again, my relationship with the management was a bit sour. And what I used to do, I had a bit of freedom. I could go home, take my children to school, pick them from school at 3 o'clock, and they didn't mind. But then again, after I had the strike on, they changed their mind. One day I went home to pick my kids from the school, came back, and I was called in the office. Mr. Khan, you left the premises without permission. I says, no. you had let me do it for long.
Yes.
If you wanted me to stop, you could have told me, Mr. Khan, no more. I would have stopped. But picking on me, you broke the law and this and that. So I knew something is going to come up. Anyway, we worked another year and then I left. I said, I'm sorry, I couldn't work here anymore because we don't get along very well. I don't want to spoil with you guys, but thank you very much. I left. And then I found another job in Manchester as a printer. So I learned a bit about printing because my background was printing. I could pick it up quickly. And I worked there for 2 years and life took on, and from here to there, kept on working and enjoying life. Yeah.
What did you do after you finished working there?
Went to Manchester. From Manchester to I came back to Rochdale after 2 years. There was another Indian. He had this big machine, packaging. Now I had a lot of ideas about packaging, so I took that job, did that for a year, and then there was an opening at KYP, Kashmir Youth Project. Yeah, and then I started work at KYP as a printing instructor. Worked there 6 years. Had a good time there. Everybody were very friendly, and funny enough, the girls there were looking forward to talking to me because I was that kind of a person who would talk to anybody. Not like other staff members who could bahut khul ke nahi bolna, and they would come to me for advice. My dad says this, what should I do? I said, come on, don't bring your house matters to me. I can't tell you what you should do. Talk to your parents. They're your parents and all that. But 6 years there, and it was good time I had in KYP. They loved it, and I loved them. Yeah, good days there.
Why do you think people felt it was easier to come to you with their problems and not go to their own parents?
Because I was that kind of a friendly person, I would treat them as my own children.
Yeah.
Like I was with my girls. I was very open with them.
Yeah.
We would discuss everything, whether it's personal or what. They would not go to their mother. My children would come to me, or Dad, this happened, what should we do? I've gone to Balderstone now. Some boys are bullying me. And I always told my children, never be afraid. If somebody bullies you, if you give in, they'll bully you more. Next time somebody bullies you, push him. Push him off his feet. And Serena was very quick to learn. And she became very macho type. She would not take no for a no. And with that nature, those girls were the same. Or Uncle Ji, what should we do? And I always advised them what they should and shouldn't do. And they would look forward to the break time. And I was in my unit, and they would all be there. Uncle Ji this, Uncle Ji that. And yeah, we had a good time there. Yes. Because it's in my nature to be friendly, say what you want to say, talk good things about people, and took it from there.
Do you ever feel betrayed by the British government?
Never. I respect them. I have never followed the British government and the white people. They accepted us because we integrated very well. They never faulted us. Up till now, in this country, touch wood, I can swear by it, nobody up till now have called me names, called me a pucky, called me, abused me or swore at me. Never. I have not seen one Englishman or Gora or whatever you call it swearing at me. Maybe because that's what I am. I don't know whether they liked me or they feared me or whatever, but never. I don't believe in racism. I'm not experienced racism. In fact, I've seen more racism in Asian than in Gore. You know, I mean, the word racism, I realize when our people, they call each other, look at Asians, one community doesn't get well with the other community. Gores don't do that. I have never, the street I live on, I've been living there for almost 45 years. The whole street respects you. They respect your children. My children were never abused on that street. Never. So that's the way I am. And I've never experienced anything like that. People talk about, oh, Gore this, Gore that. I haven't experienced that. I've enjoyed life with everybody. Whatever you are what you are. If you are good, they are good to you. That's how the life goes.
Can I ask your thoughts about Idi Amin?
Idi Amin came and went. But Idi Amin has done a lot of favor to the Asians in a way. People talk about him as barbarian, bad person, bad judgment and all that. Yeah, okay, he was illiterate. He could not run the country the way he wanted to. The biggest mistake he did was to expel Asians, because the Asian in Africa rule the economy. They run the economy, they build that country. And after he threw the Asians out, the country was ruined. All the businesses closed down. Now the new generation is learning. But Idi Amin did a lot of things that he shouldn't have done. But on the other hand, he's done Asians a lot of good. For example, the Asians, if we were still in Uganda or Kenya or Tanzania, all Asians, they should bless him, because he's done us a big favor in a way that we came to this country, we got adopted in a good way. If we were still back home, our children would have been just like our parents, working in factories, doing jobs what they could find. Some people could not even find jobs. Poverty was there. Food wasn't there. Everybody, 40% of Asians were struggling hand to mouth. 10% would be very poor, but they were still living there. Coming to this country, people have educated their children to a state where children are standing on their feet with degrees, doctors, politicians, dentists, all high jobs have gone to our children. Why? Because they came here. Free education, lot of opportunities which they would never have found back home. They would still be struggling, they would still be hand to mouth. So why blame Idi Amin? I think Idi Amin did us a big favor. This is our destination. This is our destiny. This is how I see it. Maybe Allah works in mysterious ways. This is one of the way. Bless Idi Amin. Lot of people suffered. I suffered. I don't like him because he took away from me our business, our house, my parents split and all that. Lot of people are split. Some are living in Europe, some are living in America. Brother in Europe, brother in America. That's another loss. But majority should praise him. And in fact, I know a lot of families in Leicester who worship him. Literally worship him. I know quite 3 families in Leicester. When they do their prayers, they praise Idi Amin as well, because they had one family had 6 children, 4 boys and 2 girls. 4 boys 2 of them are doctors. One is a dentist and one is a chartered accountant. They would never have been on this position if they were back home. Why should they not praise Idi Amin? Idi Amin has been a savior to lots of Asians. Well, say what you want to say, but I think it's been a blessing in disguise. That's how it goes. Yeah.
Have you had the opportunity to go back to Uganda?
I couldn't go. Seriously, though I would love to go back, a lot of my friends have gone back. They still keep going back and bring in photographs. I've got a lot of photographs of Uganda, Ginger and all that. I see them and I regret. But a lot of bad memories. I don't think I could go back and really enjoy my stay there even for a week or two. I've got too many bad memories to go back to. But I would love to go one day, inshallah. Or my son is very keen to go back and visit the country his father was born in. I said, yeah, why not? One day we'll send you. I couldn't go. No. Well, that's my loss.
Is UK the place that you would want to carry on living?
If I say no, it's too late. I'm almost over 70 and I've passed my time. I had good time, happily retired. I don't think I could, or I am regretting it. I think it's been good 50 years, 51 years. The country's been good to me and my children and to everybody else. So, no regrets. No.
What would you say in the 51 years of being in UK is one of the most memorable experiences of your life?
I think yes, because I think I have spent more years in UK than back home. I was 25 when I came, so I lived there only 25 years, but the memories would never go away. I have lived my life to the full back home. I don't think I could ever enjoy or have a quality life like back home. But then again, I live more years here. And this country has given me a lot. And I can't be ungrateful to that. I think it's been a blessing in some ways. Sad though that I'm on my own. My families are in Canada. Couple of them are in Sweden. Still couple of them in Kenya. But I think we are all happy now. Happily settled. Yeah. No regrets.
Is there anything that you'd like to say to the listeners to remember you by for this interview?
I think we should be happy where we are. We have come a long way. We have lost a bit, but we have gained a lot. We should be grateful that we are here in more than one ways and do the best we can. Be grateful to whoever we want to be grateful to. Just be happy.
Ankoti, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank you for your time.
No worry.
And all the memories that you've shared with us, and I'm sure our listeners are going to really enjoy listening to your story of living in the different places that you have done.
I hope they do.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you to have me.